You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports. We're going to talk about Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos. Now, in case you guys don't know this, I'm old enough to have watched Shannon Sharpe's entire career, Denver Broncos career. Hell, I'm 48 years old, and he played 12 seasons starting in 1990 for the Broncos. In case you also don't know and you think Shannon Sharpe's main part of his career is being on Undisputed and First Take, he's a Hall of Fame tight end, 12 seasons with the Broncos. He knows the Broncos pretty damn well. Most of these guys that spent a long time with these organizations, they're still very, very locked in to what's going on behind the scenes in front offices, and they also are very aware of what the plans are. Well, he talks about what went wrong with Russell Wilson, and he also drops a very interesting nugget that seems to confirm what we all thought. Two things. Number one, Russell Wilson was not the first choice. Number two, Aaron Rodgers was. Aaron Rodgers was the first choice. I talked about that on this channel, that Aaron Rodgers was assumed to be going to the Denver Broncos, and that is why Nathaniel Hackett was the head coach of the Denver Broncos. We all know that was a horrible fit. Now, did that contribute to the nightmare that was with Russell Wilson? Maybe. Did that make the Broncos desperate to try to backfill with a Pro Bowl quarterback? Maybe. We don't know, but nonetheless, we know the Broncos and Wilson are done. They made that announcement yesterday, and both parties made their statements. Well, Shannon Sharpe voiced his thoughts on the situation on Tuesday's First Take on ESPN, calling the fit between Wilson and Sean Payton, quote, a match made in hell. What we thought was going to be a marriage made in heaven, I did not think that for a second, because the Broncos had a nice, talented group of receivers. Russ could throw the ball extremely well. It turned out to be a match made in hell. For me personally, I thought Russ came in with the wrong attitude. Look, Sean Payton was very aware of all the things that were going on there when Nathaniel Hackett was there, including the I've got my own office away from my teammates, and I've got this parking space and all this kind of stuff that a guy that is coming from the Bill Parcells tree, also the same tree Belichick came from, it's just simply not going to put up with that kind of attitude, that entitlement attitude. So I would imagine if you gave Sean Payton truth serum, he was probably out on Russ from the beginning. But I do believe that he thought there was a chance he could make this work. Russ could throw the ball extremely well. It turned out to be a match made in hell. For me personally, I thought Russ came in with the wrong attitude. I think he wanted things that he never got in Seattle. Concessions that the Broncos made early on because they hadn't had a quarterback of this caliber since Peyton Manning left. I just don't think he integrated himself with the team that much. It was a serious issue. Sharpe discussed what he thinks led to the fit between Payton and Wilson never getting on the right track, crediting the disconnect to Coach Payton's unwillingness to give his quarterback a fair opportunity at redemption from his previously unsightly season with Nathaniel Hackett. Sean Payton never ever gave Russ a second chance to win him over. He came in with his ideology. He's like, how could you? ? This is not team building. Players do not separate themselves from others. That's what we were talking about a second ago with the office and the parking space and all that crap. And it rubbed him the wrong way. There you go. With all that being said, we have to stop this notion that Russell Wilson played well. Russell Wilson did not play well. And for the amount of money that he got, $124 million, a lot of stats that he piled on came in losing efforts. and we talked about the fact that he did not run the offense the way that Sean Payton wanted it to be run. So we come over here to Pro Football Network, and there's more that came out of this, okay? There's more that came out of this. Quote, I thought it was a bad hire getting Nathaniel Hackett. We all know that's a disaster. They hired Hackett thinking they were going to get Aaron Rodgers, Sharpe continued. There we go, right? There we go. And that's where it led into the second chance to win him over, yada, yada, yada. Russ didn't live up to those obligations, and I think the Broncos organization failed Russ in the beginning by hiring that guy that had no business being a head coach or his offensive coordinator. So he's saying that it was a bad fit with Nathaniel Hackett that got Russell Wilson off track. It's kind of hard to argue with at least partially that logic, right? Because Nathaniel Hackett was a disaster. No doubt about it, right? No doubt about it. But there were reasons why Pete Carroll wanted Russell out too. And we can't lose sight of that, right? Remember them beating Russell Wilson, the Seahawks, and him talking about, we won this for all the old guys? I mean, it was pretty well known. I mean, Marshawn Lynch, Richard Sherman, they were pretty vocal. I mean, Russell did not do a lot to make him the most, I guess you could say, attached and friendly teammate, even in Seattle, or at least that's the word that came out, right? And then he got all these concessions from the Broncos and the ownership, all of these Mr. Unlimited things, and people still wonder, why did he come out with that? Because he was trying to build a brand like TB12. And it was going to be Mr. Unlimited. And then when he put that video out, it fell flat on its ass. Everybody made fun of it. It went viral for all the wrong reasons. And it was, it made him look terrible around the league. You had NFL players around the league literally making fun of him. I mean, the Ravens did on camera after a win. You know, Justin Tucker. I mean, the kicker was making fun of Russell Wilson. But you get my point, right? But I thought this was interesting because Sharpe was telling you some things, or at least confirming some things that we thought we knew. One of the most interesting parts is Aaron Rodgers, you know, and we thought that was the case. And the question is, if you're Broncos ownership, you look back, how do you feel about Aaron Rodgers? I mean, because you obviously hired Hackett because of that. I cannot believe that organization, George Patton, how does he still have a gig? I said that the other day. I mean, if you thought you've got to get Aaron Rodgers signed, sealed, and delivered before you hire somebody like Nathaniel Hackett, it was disastrous, no doubt about it. I understand the pivot to Russell Wilson. I think a lot of us were just wrong. I said when that trade happened, this is going to work out for the Broncos. Oh, okay. I mean, I'm not afraid to come on here and say, shit, I shit the bed on that. Did I not? It was horrible. Absolutely horrible. And then I knew the Sean Payton thing was going to work out, and I called it. Jarrett Stidham started before the season was over. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.